Welcome back to Moving the Needle. I'm Chris Fink, founder of the MedSpa Agency, author of The Patient Magnet, and your host. This is episode 2 of our Patient Magnet Growth series. And in episode 1, I talked about when we're scaling ad spend, how that works, when that works, and how customer acquisition costs and lifetime value can determine whether growth is safe or risky. Today, we're going to move into one of the most important parts in the entire growth system, the part that determines whether your marketing dollars create real revenue or disappear into thin air: conversion. A lot of practices don't have a lead problem or a marketing problem, they have a conversion problem. They lose money between the moment that a lead comes in and the moment that a treatment plan is accepted. The hidden bottleneck is usually inside the process, not inside the platform. So today, I want to walk through the conversion chain, how the links in that chain affect revenue, why so many practices lose money after the click, and how to build a predictable system that turns leads into long-term patients. This is the bridge between attract and retain. And when this part of the system gets strong, every dollar you spend on ads becomes more and more profitable, and your patient experience improves at the same time. Now, here's the truth about why practices lose money after the first click. A lot of owners assume that poor conversion means that they need better ads. And in reality, often the greatest losses happen after the lead's already been generated. So it's not about the ads. The ads are doing their job in generating the lead. They come in. But where it falls apart is they don't get followed up with quickly enough. Patients wait too long, or prospective patients wait too long for replies. Communication feels unclear. Consults feel rushed or inconsistent. And rebooking gets skipped once the schedule gets busy. And that looks like an marketing problem, but it's actually an operational problem inside Convert. So when you strengthen the Convert phase, then 3 things happen pretty much immediately. Your customer acquisition costs become more efficient, your lifetime value increases naturally, and your marketing becomes easier to scale. And this is why conversion is the highest leverage part of the growth system. You don't need more leads. You need to fully capture the value of the leads that you're already getting. So let me talk about the chain a little bit. There's basically 5 links in the conversion chain, the way I see it. And every successful practice needs to protect these links because one weak link will affect the entire system, right? So response time, your show rate, consult rate, the treatment plan, rebooking, all of that leads. And then if you want to get past that, or when you do get past this successfully, then the last part of it on the other end is capacity bottlenecks. And if you want predictable growth, then these areas have to be strong and consistent. Not perfect, but consistent. Consistency is what turns advertising from an expense into an investment. So let's walk through some of those links and how they affect your economics. First off, response time. Response time is the beginning of every financial outcome inside your practice. When a lead comes in, the clock starts. And this right here is a very common choke point. So if your team responds in minutes, conversion rates increase. If your team responds in hours, conversion often fails. And if your team responds the next day, then you're just losing money. So patients are not comparing providers all the time. They're often subconsciously comparing response times. Fast communication communicates professionalism and instills confidence. Slow response communicates confusion, lack of care. It signals that the patient may not get the attention that they want during the treatment plan. And that can reduce trust before the relationship ever gets started. So fast response protects your ad spend. And when we get past this part right here, then we can go through. At this point, if your response is the fail point, the ads did not fail, your response time did. And so, again, operational issue, and that's something that we can optimize for and work on together. Now, the second link is show rate. A lot of practices underestimate how much money is lost when patients don't show for consults or appointments. And show rates drop when communication is clear or unclear. Show rates change when reminders are inconsistent. Show rates drop when patients feel rushed during booking. So this is not a lead quality issue. This is a communication issue. Again, so operational. Patients will show when they feel comfortable and informed. They show when they understand what will happen. They show when the booking process feels confident and supportive. A weak show rate tells you that your booking experience needs attention. A strong show rate tells you that you and your communication rhythm is clear. Now, next is your consult rate. And the consult is one of the most underrated parts of the entire med spa model. It determines whether your time, your spend, and your systems actually convert into revenue. So a strong consult will create clarity, and a weak consult will naturally create hesitation. So, and patients need to understand three things. They need to know what's going on with their skin or their body. They want to know what their options are. And they need to know your recommendation and why. When the consult is unclear or rushed, then patients will hesitate. And when a consult is structured, educational, patients move forward confidently. And you don't need to sell during consults. You need to teach, educate, inform. Education reduces friction. Education increases trust, and trust increases treatment plan acceptance. So when your consults are predictable, your revenue becomes predictable. When they vary from provider to provider, then your revenue also, if you look at it, I'm very confident you'll notice that it's inconsistent. So now treatment plan acceptance. Patients will rarely accept a treatment plan that they don't understand. They rarely invest in services that they don't feel confident about. And treatment plan acceptance reflects the clarity and structure of your consult process. Acceptance rates increase when patients feel understood, when the provider explains the path forward clearly, when the plan feels tailored and realistic, and the patient knows exactly what to expect. Acceptance decreases when the consult's rushed, options feel unclear, next steps are not defined, and the patient senses any uncertainty. The treatment plan is not just a recommendation, it is your economic roadmap. When acceptance is strong, your ads become more profitable. When acceptance is weak, your customer acquisition costs now become unstable. Rebooking is the moment where revenue becomes predictable. Everything before this point drives acquisition and conversion, but rebooking drives long-term value. Patients will rarely rebook themselves. They rebook when the provider guides the next steps. So having strong rebooking habits will increase lifetime value. High lifetime value makes customer acquisition costs safer, and safe customer acquisition costs make scaling possible. So if a practice doesn't rebook consistently, scaling ads will never feel comfortable. You can see how this all ties back together. You'll always feel like you're chasing revenue instead of building it. And rebooking is not about pressure, it's about clarity. Patients want to feel taken care of. They want to know what comes next. And a clear rebooking step sets that expectation and strengthens the relationship. With so many practices actually studied, the patterns are often the same. A lot of practices lose money at the ad level. They lose money in the handoff between each link of the conversion chain. And the money slips away most often. Slow response times, unstructured booking, inconsistent consults, weak treatment plan delivery, and skipped rebooking. Each one of these issues is fixable. None require major staff changes. None require complicated tools. They do require structure, expectations, communication, and above all, consistency. And when the conversion chain strengthens, everything changes. CAC drops, revenue per patient rises, your lifetime value increases, team confidence will improve, scheduling becomes more predictable, and ads produce more return at the same spend. And that's why Convert is the most powerful lever in the patient magnet system. So, how can you strengthen each link in the chain? And this is where we move from theory to application. A lot of these things you already know, but the core upgrades that can create immediate change in performance. First, upgrade your response habits. Set a simple internal expectation. All new leads receive a follow-up within minutes. This one change increases conversion more than any ad adjustment you could ever make. It's the most, or one of the most important behaviors in the entire attract to convert transition, speed to lead. Make your booking clear and supportive. Patients want direction, they want clarity, they want confidence. When your communication is calm, clear, and consistent, show rates increase. Most no-shows are not really commitment issues, they're clarity issues. So, and build a structured consult framework. Get consistency on this. Every provider should follow the same rhythm. Should discover, educate, recommend, confirm next steps. This framework creates predictable results and removes unnecessary pressure from the consult experience. And it also increases treatment plan acceptance naturally. Rebooking should not be optional. It should be part of your care pathway. And when the provider explains why the next visit matters, patients will more often than not follow through. And this, again, increases lifetime value and stabilizes your entire growth strategy. So here's what strong conversion actually feels like. When the convert stage of the patient magnet is healthy, the practice just feels different. It feels calmer, more predictable, more aligned. Leads get handled quickly. Patients feel cared for. Providers feel confident. Your customer acquisition costs improve. Your revenue becomes steadier, and your retention increases. The practice is no longer reacting to marketing, it's absorbing marketing. And that's a shift that creates a true patient magnet. So, how this prepares you for the next episode, because we're going to start connecting the dots a little further. So, convert is the bridge, retain is the engine. So, episode 3 coming up is all about retention, rebooking, long-term value, why lifetime value determines whether your practice becomes stable or stays stressed. When convert becomes strong, retain becomes easier. So when retain becomes strong, then scaling becomes safe. So in episode 3, we'll walk through how to engineer retention in a way that multiplies your revenue without relying heavily on top of funnel ad spend. So if you take one idea away from this today, let it be this. Most practices, they don't always need more leads. They need a stronger path for what happens after the lead comes in. Strengthen your conversion chain, and you'll get more return from every dollar that you invest. Every patient you speak to, every consult you run. Your growth depends on clarity, consistency, and confidence. And now you have a full blueprint for building all three. So thank you for joining me for episode 2 of the Patient Magnet Growth Series. I'll see you in episode 3, where we break down retention, patient loyalty, and long-term profit engines for your practice. If you found this valuable, please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe so that you catch some of our other content. And if you know another practice owner or manager that's looking for ways to get their operations and their lead magnet installed correctly, then share it with them as well. Thanks for watching. I'm Chris. This is Moving the Needle. We'll see you in episode 3.